Hi guys, today's video is going to be a little bit like a story time. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm in a depression, what happened at the end of December that made me fall down, and a lot of other things like infertility, HPV viruses, abnormal cells, and such things. I wanted to kind of just give a very note that this is about not being able to have children, so if that is something that triggers you, this might not be the video. However, I do believe that there's a lot of learning to be done, and I firmly believe that I need to make my health issues count for something. They can't just be an issue. There have to be a reason for them. And right now I believe that reason is that I can share about them and maybe show that you can get out of this, you can find ways to survive and not be totally broken. But yeah, so just a note, I'm still not out of it completely. It's not ended. There's a lot of things that is going to happen, and I don't have any schedule for how it's going to happen. So it's going to be a rough couple of months coming forward. I'm trying to work at my normal job. I only work half time, but I'm trying to work every day, trying to make it sure that I actually earn money so that I will be able to, I don't know, survive this somehow. But yeah. The story, into the story. So you know that I stopped recording videos, or at least edited videos at the end of December, and the reason for that was that I fell into a pretty deep depression. I have been very sad. I have been very tired and exhausted to the degree that I haven't known how to find the energy to go on. I never ever even considered taking my own life, but I still had a thought in my mind that I don't know where the energy is going to come from, and I just want to give up. But giving up means not living anymore, and there's still things I want to see in the world, so no, that won't happen. But it's been tough. It's been really tough, and the biggest part was that I didn't understand why. So we are going to kind of fold everything up and talk about it, because I finally think I know why, and now I'm just gonna have to learn to deal with it, at the same time doing all the things that I need to get done for the next couple of months, and then we'll see. By the way, if you already see that I'm crying, it's because I tried to make this video for a while, but it ended up being very long and not really consistent. So hopefully I can be a little bit more consistent this time. So what I'm going to talk about is basically infertility. I'm going to talk about how biology really screws you over when you not even can have children, and they still have that drive. So first of all, I am a firm believer in logical thinking, and for a very long time, the last decade to be honest, I knew I wouldn't have children, for multiple reasons. It started in 2009 when I decided I didn't want to have children because I didn't feel that children would fit in my life. I am a very introverted person. Even the kitties can make me feel that I'm a little bit cramped, too much social being, and I need just to be alone, and that has been a big part of why I haven't wanted to have children. Another two big parts came after I was diagnosed with menopause, and mostly after I was diagnosed with SLE, and that is I have been sick for a very long time. In periods I am much sicker, and in periods I feel a little bit better. However, I don't want to bring a child into that life, because in the end that would mean that in periods of time I wouldn't be able to take care of the child, and the child would need to take care of me, and I don't want to put a child into that kind of life. And thirdly, I am diagnosed with multiple autoimmune issues and migraines, and both of those are genetical in some different ways, and therefore I wouldn't want my issues, the way I'm feeling, come to a child ever. So I have very strong reasons why not to have children. And also, as you might have heard, I'm in menopause. I went into menopause at 30. However, there is a little thing about that, and that is that as 80% of females, this is a very big number, that actually go into menopause too early, they don't find out why they went into menopause. 20% are the ones that usually falls under that they have a weak X, they have the factor X called, it's a weak X chromosome. It's kind of disabled a little bit, and therefore you can't produce, but usually that is found out much earlier in life, usually that you not even go into puberty as a child. There's a few other reasons, but you can also go into early menopause due to stress or due to hormonal changes in your body, and in some cases that will heal itself out, or if you actually realize which hormonal changes that is happening, you're able to counteract them and then you can function again. In my case, I now know since just a week or two ago that both my ovaries has now let go. They hadn't throughout my being menopause. I always had an ovary that has been a little bit live, but at the last exam it has actually shriveled it too. So I'm not able to have children anymore, but I didn't know that in December fully. It was always that 1 in a million chance, and that was basically what I then figured out is the cause of the depression. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So what happened in December? Well, here's the thing. It's all about HP viruses, human papillomaviruses. Human papillomaviruses is a virus that lives in the between land. It lives around your cervical area where you have your cervical tip. The reason why it kind of lives there, or in some cases, not everyone have a HP virus and usually you heal it out, but it lives between the uterus and the canal, so just where they meet. The reason is that they are two different kind of cell types, and when they meet, the area in between is a very nice area for the virus to live. So that is where it places itself. Some people say that it might be due to that it is sexual transferred, but it's not always that is the reason why you get it. So you don't know. Usually you heal it out yourself. The human immune system is very good at killing off viruses, and the HP virus isn't one that can't be healed out. However, today you also can have a shot vaccine against it. The HP virus, when it attacks your body starts producing abnormal cells, and if those abnormal cells aren't removed, they can in their case turn into precancerous cells, which in that case can turn into cancer. If they turn into either precancerous cells or cancerous cells, you need to be treated, usually with radiation and what is called chemical stuff, I don't know, killing off them. At the same time, you most likely need to cut stuff off. If you get abnormal cells, there are three ways. Either if they're mild, they usually go away by themselves. If they're kind of the medium, you burn them away, and if they are the bad guys, you go in and you cut off a piece of the cervical tip. And I don't want to be fear-mongering here, because most people this doesn't really affect them. However, you should really go and have your swabs, your pap smears on a regular basis, because if you get the virus and the virus then gives you abnormal cells, if you remove them with either burning them down or cutting them off, in most cases that's it. Then you don't have to care and you don't get cancer. So go and get your pap smears. In my case, however, because I have an autoimmune disease and also because I'm eating cortisone in so many different forms, both pills, my asthma medication is cortisone, and I also use cortisone for my nose because I have chronic inflammations in my sinuses. Wonderful. That is actually affecting how I can fight the viruses. Basically, I am pushing in cortisone into my body. Cortisone is the body is supposed to produce cortisone to help fight inflammations. When you continuously push cortisone into your body, your own immune system kind of steps back and like, hey, you're already doing that for me, so I don't need to do that, and it stops producing cortisone, which means that you don't have the body doesn't have the energy to kill off the bacteria. My colds are usually a lot longer than anyone else's and stuff like that. So in my case, it's just not dying, the viruses. I most likely had viruses since 2012. However, I've only tested positive for the viruses since my last conversation. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I did have 2 conversations for abnormal cells in 2012 and 2013. When I woke up from my second conversation to remove the abnormal cells, I found out that I don't have that much of my cervical tip left, so if I ever get abnormal cells again, condensation might not be the answer. The next step after condensation is hysterectomy. So after 2013, however, I was testing positive for the HP viruses, but I wasn't testing positive for abnormal cells, so everything was nice. However, the whole human papillomavirus and figuring out how that works and what it does is a rather new thing. It's something they've been kind of looking at for the past maybe 20 years, 20, 30 years, I don't know how long, but it's a rather new thing in medical things. And for the past few years, they have figured out that you really need to make sure that you track the viruses to figure out why it isn't dying down, if it's you that are getting new ones, to figure out why people get it, or if it's the same one that you continue to have, because if it's the same one you continue to have, you will get abnormal cells, and then you need to do your pap smears much more often. So in 2018 I did my pap smear, and I again tested positive for HP viruses, and then they needed to, okay, this time we'll need to grade it. For some reason, the grading, I think that the test that he took wasn't good enough, so they couldn't grade them, but that's a whole other thing. However, because I had the virus, we thought there was one, he also sent off, we also had a discussion about what we're gonna do next, and a discussion about, because I'm already in menopause, maybe we should just remove the uterus as a precaution, because then getting cancer would decrease immensely. The possibility of getting cancer would decrease immensely. So he sent away some papers to a hospital. However, those papers got lost, and we actually got back the answers from those papers in November 2019, and this is where all of this started. We got the papers back. We did a new pap smear. I found out that the papers said that they wanted to keep me under observation for a couple of years because I just had the virus, and because of my SLE they weren't sure to remove my uterus. If I hadn't been in menopause, removing the uterus had been a much bigger thing. I would have to go to shrinks and do a lot of different things, but now that I am in menopause, I knew I couldn't have children, then removing the uterus isn't as a big thing when it comes to like actually getting the surgery. However, because I have the lupus, they're afraid that any kind of surgery could trigger my lupus and I would get sicker. So they don't want to, if they don't have to, they don't want to do it. At least not this hospital. Well, I had my test done in November. I went away for vacation. I come back in December and I had my results digitally. And it isn't that good. I have 2 viruses. Because we graded it, we now know that I have 2 viruses. They are the worst kind and then kind of the next 2 worst kind, so they're very aggressive. And also I have abnormal cells. So it's no longer an if, it is a we're gonna need to have a hysterectomy done. And I thought about this since 2013 and I'm like, of course we're gonna do it, but every time we come to the point of doing it I hesitate, and I never understood why. Because hey, I'm in menopause, I can't have babies, why should I have it left? But there's been something stopping me, and I have figured out now that it is a biological thing, it's a mental thing. It is, there's something in me that wants to have children, something I didn't think existed. However, we are going ahead with it. We're gonna have a surgery. There is no reason for me to stop with it. I also had a ultrasound thingy done because I got to meet my surgeon. He had an ultrasound of my uterus and my ovaries, and I found out that both my ovaries is basically dead, so I can't have biological children anyway. So there's no longer a kind of a if we're gonna do this. But even though I logically know that I can't have children, I haven't really processed it fully. I thought I didn't want to have children, but at the same time I always believed in the 1 in a million chance. And this is something I don't talk about people with, because like I'm in menopause and I'm a very prominent person about I don't want to have children because I don't want to bring a child into my life because it would hurt them. But there's still a biological thing in my body that tells me, of course you're gonna have children, of course you want to have a baby. So I've had that 1 in a million chance in my head because one of my ovaries haven't been dead and it hadn't shriveled before. So there's always been this chance that even if I'm in menopause it could turn around, because I did have an ovary that was still kind of hanging on. So if we turn this around, that one can give me eggs and I could get babies. So I always believe that if the birth control would fail, if I would get pregnant, I would keep the baby. Because even if I don't want to bring a child into this world, I wouldn't be able to not have it. But now I can't anymore. Whether or not I have the hysterectomy, I won't be able to have a child. I know that now. I didn't know that in December. I met the surgeon in January, and the end of January. So I didn't know until end of January that this choice that I have been given is kind of null void anyhow. But I didn't know it then. And I didn't understand that it was the 1 in a million chance that was breaking my heart. That I still somehow believed it could be a baby. And I didn't understand that I wanted a child that much. And it's been rough. Figuring out why I was so sad, why all of this was hurting me so much. Figuring out that I wanted to be a mom. I never thought that I would be the person that would want to be a mom. But apparently, biology sucks. We have an inherent drive in our body to have children that defies all logic. And I didn't think I had it. But apparently I do. So I have been crying a lot. I now know that I won't be able to have any children whether or not I have a uterus. There will be no children anyhow. So I just have to process that. I just have to deal with it in a way that works with me. And all the logical thinking in the world haven't helped so far. But I'm feeling better. After having that ultrasound telling me that my ovaries now have died, I didn't have to worry. It felt better because I know that it isn't a decision that is up to me. Having a hysterectomy isn't removing the 1 in a million chance, because the 1 in a million chance is already gone. So now I just have to accept that. And it will work. It will work. I fought through menopause. I fought through finding out about my SLE, my APS, my Sjögrens, my Renault, my chronic migraines. I've been able to fight through all those things. I can come out on the right side of this. I know that I can. It's been rough. A couple of weeks ago, I didn't think I had the energy left. Like, I don't want to offer myself in any shape or form, just so you know. But I had a period of time when I didn't know where the energy would come from. How would I be able to deal with all this? Where would I find the fight? I was so exhausted, and I knew that I had a lot of fighting left to do, and I didn't know where that energy would come from. But I'm getting better. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling that energy is slowly coming back to me. I'm not as exhausted anymore. I am tired though, but I've been working much more than I usually do this week. So I'm tired that way, but I'm not emotionally exhausted to that degree. It used to take a little bit longer time to fight because I don't have that big energy. But it's gonna solve. It's gonna be okay. Just so you know, it's gonna be okay. I know that it's gonna be okay. But I couldn't talk about it because I didn't understand why I was hurting so much. I'm still hurting. I'm still crying every night. But I'm not crying as much. It's not as bad. And I think that is going to be the way it's going to be. Every day I will feel a little bit better. And I will come out on top as I usually do. But it's been rough. I'm happy that I have people by my side. I'm happy to have my family. I'm happy to have Christopher and the kiddies, my friends. I'm happy to have the internet, social media, and I'm happy that I have you. I still have a long way to go. I don't know when I'm gonna have the hysterectomy yet. I'm waiting for a call to find that out. And then it's gonna be recovery from that. But I'm hoping that I'm coming out feeling much better. I'm hoping that this might be a solution. I have been sick for a very long time, and maybe if the body doesn't have to fight with this virus anymore, if this surgery removes the virus completely, then maybe it will have a little bit more energy to fight something else, and maybe I can feel better, have more energy, go back to work full time, follow my dreams. Maybe this can help. That is all I can kind of grasp onto, that this might help me, this might make me feel better. But yeah, now that you know everything, if you have any questions about anything of this, comment down below or send me a PM if you don't want to be talking about it publicly. I talk about all of these things publicly because I feel that not enough people do, but that means that I have made that choice. Yeah, but if you want to talk to me about it, just send me a message either here on YouTube or on Facebook or somewhere, and we can chat about it. I want to give all of you a big hug, and I will see you soon, maybe on a much more happy topic, but yeah, I will see you soon. Right now I'm gonna have to go and blow my nose and then I'm gonna edit this, and yeah, gonna have a weekend. But yeah, guys, just remember that I love you, and see you later. Bye.